My friend asked me to flip this console table for her because she just did not like the dark look of this, and it did have a lot of imperfections, and I was like, honey, hand it over to me, let me take care of it. I did a little test there to make sure that I could remove the stain because her vision was to paint it a sage color with raw wood because that's what matched her house. And I was like, okay, let me get a little creative here. I used some stripper. This is my go-to. It's called Jasco. And I used a hard nylon brush to really scrub off that old varnish. This is very thick, and a lot of old furniture from the 80s and 90s has this very, very thick, glossy lacquer, LOL, lacquer on it. So it's always really hard to get off, especially if you're using a cheap stripper. So always use a very reputable one, and this one that I like is called Jasco. Anyways, if you read that sentence in any other video, that would sound kind of funny. Okay, moving on. So I'm using a metal scraper. Always use a metal scraper whenever you're moving stripper. With plastic, it can just eat away at it sometimes. So once I did all of that, I then went back and I scraped off any excess. A lot of this old lacquer did get into these little herringbone patterns on the top, so that was kind of a pain. But then again, I just vacuumed it up and I just kept moving forward because stripping furniture is not for the faint of heart. And I will always stand by that fact. Okay, I don't know why this voiceover is so funny, but it is. Okay, so next thing, we're going to sand the top down to raw wood. And for the hard corner areas, I'm using this little wood planer. It's like a wood razor. And I just use this to get into those 90-degree angles, and it gets rid of that old stain super easily. And this is one of my favorite little products here. So I'm going to tape off the insides. That way when I paint the outsides, it won't touch the herringbone pattern because we worked really hard on that. And I just went around the entire thing and I used frog tape.
I like it.
Clearly, I was liking the route that this flip was going. So I chose the color, this is Hampton Olive. And I love this because it is a silk color, and you probably see me use this in my videos one too many times now. Now, silk paint has a built-in primer and a built-in top coat, so it's really an all-in-one paint. So you just paint it on. I did 2 coats and I let it dry overnight. And the next day I peeled off the frog tape and I was left with a beautiful herringbone pattern in a gorgeous sage green color. Now, I wanted to kind of lighten up this wood and get kind of like, I guess you could say, disguise those orangey tones. So I'm using Voodoo Gel Stain. This is also from Dixiebelle. This is one of their brand new colors. They launched this new range of neutral colors, and they are just to die for because they're so organic and so natural looking. And all I did was I sprayed the top with water and I buffed it in with a brush, and then I wiped back all the excess with a shop cloth, and that way it just really almost like, it looks like it bleached the wood without actually bleaching the wood. It just really lightened it and made it look gorgeous. So once that fully dried, I went back over it with gator hide. This is a very, very durable top coat, and I cannot recommend this enough for any piece that is high traffic, for any piece that you use very often. This stuff will protect it. I can promise you that. I did 2 coats of this, and y'all, that's the before and this is the after. I love the lightness of the wood grain. She's so happy with the sage color. What do you guys think of this pretty easy furniture flip?